Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 179th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Uther, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Cal, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then we have another Brotherhood member, who is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who's also bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Macedon faction. Unusual for me to bring the Macedon faction, but I thought for this battle we would probably need it. And when you see the armies that we're up against, the factions that we're up against, you can see why I thought it might be a good idea to bring this this Macedon faction. It should be a very interesting game for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at this very old Macedon army of mine. There's a lot of regular viewers to our channel will know. Sometimes I bring out old armies from the past. I dust them off, clean them up, and bring them onto the modern day battlefield. So I'd be interested to see how this old Macedon army does. As you can see, I've got 16 pike units there. And I think I've got 4 Cretan archers. I think when I built this army, probably maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I think I built it solely to take on the Greek cities faction. So that's why I've built it as it is, with no cavalry. As you can see, it's got, as I said, I've got 16 good pikes and the Cretan archers there. But as I said earlier, wait till you see the factions that we're up against in this battle, and I think you'll see why I've bought this old Macedon army. Hope you enjoy the battle. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Scorpion King SR, who's called himself Sun in this battle. Let's have a look at his Pontus army here. As you can see, he's bought chariot archers. I believe he's bought two units of chariot archers there. Let's say RTW is a very old game, and I've got the graphics turned right down on this this game to try and stop too much lag, but I think the graphics are not too bad for such an old game. And then he's got a heavy chariot unit there. My guess is that this chariot unit will be guarding those archer chariot units that we just saw a few seconds ago. These scythed chariots are pretty effective, but they do run amok, which means if they run amok, they kill friend and foe alike. And then we got the Cappadocian cavalry. I think that's how you pronounce it, Cappadocian cavalry. These are the Pontus's heavy cavalry. As you can see, they're well armoured. I've got quite a strong cavalry charge, and used in quantity can be battle changing troops. Also, if you notice, he's bought a lot of foot archers here, knowing that his pikemen are very susceptible to missile damage. That's why he's bought so many archers. They're short range, but at least they are. He has bought some archer cover. He's got a couple more heavy chariots out there. So there you go. There's Scorpion King SR's Pontus army there. Looks quite effective. If you look at the upgrades on his pikes there, I think some of them have got, if not all of them, are all maximum upgrades there. So as I say, that looks a pretty effective Pontus army to me. Then his teammate has got, who is Brotherhood member Gladius, has bought the Greek cities faction there. If you notice, he's kind of split his army up into one main one and 2 mini armies, plus he's got 4 archers there as well. That's quite an effective army. And then we have Heaven's member Kornovi, who's also bought the Greek cities faction. If you notice there, he's also bought the cheap archers. Of course, if you bring the cheap archers, you can put more upgrades on your Spartans. And then over here, their last teammate is the co-founder of the Brotherhood, Conan, who unusually has bought the Thrace faction. The reason you can't see the rest of his army is because they're hiding in the long grass. New players watching this, you might be thinking where the rest of his army is, but it's all hiding in the long grass, and you'll see it a bit later on when he actually comes to battle. So there's the team there. As you can see, all pike factions. This should be a very interesting battle. The first thing I'd like to say is, as you know, 4v4 large battles on Steam lag quite a lot. Well, of course, in this battle with so many pike factions, and so many of those pike factions with the big 121 man units, this battle does lag a lot. So I hope it doesn't spoil your viewing too much, but it's just unfortunate that on Steam these big battles do seem to lag a bit. As you can see here, right at the beginning of the battle here, RTW player Scorpion King SR is bringing his chariot archers across, probably with a view to try and shoot the Mastodon infantry as they move over to the centre there. If you notice, he's actually sent over one of his heavy cavalry units there to try and guard that those two chariot units there, archer units there. But you see, we're trying to move over to the centre there. As I say, it's once again, it is a little bit of a laggy game here, but those of you that play RTW regularly on Steam now will probably got used to it a bit, especially when you've got all these pike factions. It should be a good one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Conan's Thrace army here. If you notice, he's got the phalanx pikemen, and if you notice the upgrades on each of those units, I think they're fully upgraded. They've got maximum upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many items? I think he's got 8 units there of phalanx pikemen, and then he's got the Bastarni infantry there. They're pretty tough infantry, but you don't often see Thrace brought to the 31k battlefield, so it's unusual. As you can see, those Thrace infantry there have got 8 upgrades on each, so once again, very well upgraded infantry. Just to have a close-up look, newer players to 31k game might not have seen Thrace units. Now you might be wondering, as you see, you've got 8 pikemen and 6 of those Bastarni, so he's got 14 infantry on show, but I believe he's got 6 cavalry units hidden in that long grass that he's obviously not going to let us see, hoping that we think he's just got infantry. Should be interesting to see what happens. At this very early stage of the battle, you might have noticed that Uther, Brotherhood member Uther, has moved his Julia army over from the right flank to the left flank here. I don't know, not sure why he's done that, but he's moved it over from the right to the left flank here. And here's some unit you don't often see, the Cavalry Auxiliary Missile Cavalry that Rome's got. Now you don't often see this unit brought to the 31k battlefield. If you notice, they kind of look like they've almost got pilers there that they're throwing. But as I say, it's very unusual to bring this fast moving missile unit to the 31k battlefield. So, as I say, Uther's moved over to the left flank from the right. Possibly he might have fancied taking on the Pontus faction there. As you can see, Pontus has bought a lot of archers, as we saw earlier. And I'm sure if they can get into close range, they can be quite effective. Okay, at this stage of the battle, we can see that some of the enemy Greek city forces are moving slightly more forward towards our Brutii allies there. If you notice, I've got a couple of archer units in front of my main pike army here, and that's because Macedon pike units are very susceptible to any type of missile damage. So that's why I've got my couple of archer units in front of them, hoping that not only will they kill the enemy archers, but they'll soak up most of the enemy archers' arrow fire instead of them going on to my main infantry. If you notice, they brought their short-range archers forward there, and they're starting to shoot into the flank of one of Uther's infantry units there. As we open the battle up a little bit there, you can see that I think all my allies' cavalry there are now moving out to the left flank. I think what it was there, we've had enough of the kind of niggling archer fire coming from that left flank from the Pontus faction there. So what they've decided to do is do a massive cavalry charge out to that left flank with a view to take out the chariot archers, that one Pontus heavy cavalry unit, and any other heavy chariot units that want to engage them. So I think that's why they've decided to move out to the left there. A good aggressive move there by my allies, moving out to that left flank. Can you notice how long that Cappadocian cavalry unit is holding there against all our allies' cavalry? So new players watching this, if you're thinking about bringing Pontus, maybe have a look at their cavalry there. I thought that one cavalry unit held quite well there for some time. As you can see here, our Brutii ally there is sending cavalry off to try and take out that nuisance horse archer chariot unit there. And if you notice, there's a heavy chariot unit now charging into his cavalry, which is now responding to and counter-attacking. There's a bit of a close-up of the fight. As I say, once again, sorry for the lag, but those of you that play Steam regularly will know that on 4v4 large we do get a lot of lag, and especially when we've got lots of big pike units in it as well. So, as I say, I hope it doesn't spoil your entertainment that much there. So there's a big overview of the battle there. As you can see on this left flank, it looks like we've driven most of the Pontus chariots, chariot archers, and that cavalry unit out of the battlefield there. If you notice, our Brutii ally there is being attacked by the chariots of Pontus there. But he's retaliated his charge back, and if you notice that Uther is now sending his Julii cavalry over, and our other Brutii cavalry allies coming in as well. Just going to pause the game here to take stock of what's actually happening. New players to the game, can you see that chariot unit's barrier going red and then not red? That's a sign that that unit now has run amok. So that unit now is lethal to both friend and foe alike. And strange enough, when they run amok, they seem to do more damage than they do normally, as when they're just ordinary chariot units. When they run amok, it seems that they seem to kill a lot more, strangely enough. So anyway, the best thing to do now is to get your cavalry away from that amok chariot before it does too much damage to your cavalry. There's an overview of the battle there. As you can see there, the armies have not engaged yet and are just kind of sizing each other up. As I say, should be a good one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle now, you can see that a lot of the enemy archers are grouped there, and if you notice that Uther's just sent in that light missile cavalry unit to try and take out as many of those enemy archers as he could. But if you notice, the enemy have alt-attacked with those archers, so that means they've counter-attacked with their little knives against that unit. So I don't think they lost too many there, but nice move there by Uther trying to take those archers out. If you notice now, a lot of my those two units that were in front of my pike army, one of those units has been completely taken out, and I've got one unit left there firing into them that's in front of the my pikes there. But if you notice, I've got another two units just over, as you can see them there firing onto those archers as well. Meanwhile, over here on the left flank, you can see that Pontus is aggressively moving forward with their pikes against Uther's Julii army there. And if you notice, the Pontus Greek city's ally has sent some units over as well to assist the attack on our left flank. As I say, Rome facing pike units is always a bit difficult because you don't really want to fight them head on, and you've got to look for the tactical move of getting around their flank, or better still, getting in behind them. So with Pontus moving over there, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Right, we're going to pause the game here for us to take stock of exactly what's happened. As you can see, the Pontus general there, Scorpion King SR, bringing his pike units over, stretching our line. By moving over that far, he's really stretched our battle line there. And if you notice, he's got a couple of Greek cities. I think there's 3 or 4 maybe Greek city units that have moved over to assist him in his attack. As you can see there, as we saw earlier, there's lots of the enemy archers there firing their arrows into our ranks, probably trying to take out my archers as much as they can with a view to try and target my pikemen. As you can see, I think it's Gladius is attacking Cal's infantry with his Greek city army here. As I say, once again, Roman generals don't really like taking Greek cities head on unless they've got a plan to try and get around the flank or behind them with other units. As you can see, the other Greek city factions over there, and if you notice that Conan's Thrace units over there on the far left, completely fresh troops there. I imagine he might be holding there just to bring them in when needed. So there's a general overview of the battle. As I say, it's a very spread out battle, this one. So it's a bit more difficult to get everything in the filming for you with everything so spread out. But hopefully I'll get everything that I can in for you. As you see, the Pontus pikemen have moved out. As I say, they've stretched our line now. Can you see that Uther's had to move his infantry right the way over here to the left? You might notice that I've moved my Macedon units over as well. But whether that was a mistake moving my Macedon army over there when you've got the Greek city units over on our right there attacking our allies, we just have to wait and see. If you notice there, Uther's moving his infantry forward towards that those Pontus pikemen there, knowing that he's got probably fully loaded pilot infantry there ready to throw into Scorpion King's Pontus pikemen there. As you can see, these Greek city units, Kornovoi's Greek city units, are still battling with a couple of Julii units there. But over here on the right, you can see that the Greek cities' armies are really becoming aggressive against our Brutii allies there. So what I've done now, you might notice I've moved my Macedon pike army back across to that right flank there, with a view obviously to try and take the pressure off my allies by moving forward and engaging the Greek city Spartans there. As you can see, there's the Thrace army has now moved over as well. Conan's brought his Thrace army over. And as I said before, you can see that the Greek city army is being extremely aggressive. I can already see some of our Brutii allies units starting to rout. Right, if you notice, I'm taking my Macedon pike army through my allies units with a view to engage those attacking Greek city units there. That's what I'm trying to do there, and I'm hoping that the number of my units there is going to make a difference to the morale of those Greek city units. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see that a lot of the Greek city units, plus those Pontus pikemen, are all attacking Uther's infantry here. And Uther's doing the right thing by pulling his infantry back. He knows if he engages those Greek cities head on, plus those Pontus pikemen head on, that he'll probably get routed, so pulling back's a good move for him there. Right, let's just pause the game here to take stock of the situation. Right, can you see how I've moved my pike army forward now through my allies' infantry? If you notice, can you see that the Spartans are saying they're distraught at the numbers? Well, that Macedon army of mine is getting on for 2,000 troops in that army. So if you think about that, that would really, the numbers there plus the Brutii allies, really making a difference to the morale of those Spartans. As I say, it says they're distraught at the numbers of the enemy troops there. If you notice, they've moved some Greek city units out to my right with a view to attack my right flank, but if you notice, my ally have seen that and have sent a couple of units over to stop that. Meanwhile, right over on our right flank, we can see that the Thrace army that Conan has bought is moving forward, probably with a view to engage that that Brutii infantry there. So just have to see what happens next. Yeah, as you can see, the Thrace army is moving forward. Now, whether that Thrace army is looking to engage that Brutii infantry or would like to come in on my flank and attack my pikemen from the flank, we just have to wait and see. All the time, those enemy archers are shooting arrows into my units as well. Right, meanwhile, over on our left flank here, Uther's doing a really good job there. As I say, he doesn't want to engage those Greek cities head on. He doesn't want to engage those Pontus pikemen head on. So what he's done, he's pulled back and he's now moving back over to the centre, trying to get nearer his allies. Because he knows, can you see he's going to charge in cavalry into the flank of those moving Greek cities, but the Greek cities general spotted that and turned to face him, so he didn't continue with that cavalry charge, because he knows he'd lose most of his cavalry against those pikes. So well done to Uther for stopping there. A lot of people would just carry on there, you know, let the blood get to their head a bit and just carry on. So well done, Uther there. Right, you see my Macedon army is gradually moving forward. As I said before, with a pike army, it reminds me of a steamroller. Very, very slow moving, but kind of goes over everything in its path, like. Right, as you can see there, you can see the Thrace army now is kind of lining itself up against our allies' Brutii army there. With some Greek city units there defending his flank, as you can see my Macedon units moving forward. Right, if you notice now that our Brutii ally is now moving over to our left flank, because I think Uther's just asked for a bit of help over on the left. Let's just pause the game for a second to take stock of what's actually happening. So this Brutii army here, Cal's army here, was getting ready to face the Thrace army, but Uther's asked for some assistance over on that left flank. Well, he's facing a whole Greek cities army, I think, plus all that Pontus pikemen. So, as I say, he's been doing a good job pulling back, not wanting to engage, but he can only pull back so far. His troops are going to be tired, and he knows that eventually he's going to be caught probably by those pikemen. So he's asked for some assistance. So if you notice, both our Brutii allies now are going over to the left flank to help Uther. Both Steve Longshanks and Cal are moving their army over to the left. So what I'm going to do in my Macedon army is to try and hold those Greek units that are left there, plus the Thrace army there as well. So if I can hold them up long enough to allow my Brutii allies to go over to that flank and help Uther, and maybe take out those enemy armies over there, and if I can just hold this these forces up here, then I'd have done what I wanted to there. Right, be interesting to see what happens next. As I said, you can see all our Brutii units now are moving over to that left flank to help Uther out. So what I've done now, I've turned to face the Thrace army as well as those Greek city units that are left there as well. As I say, don't forget, I've probably got just only a little bit less than 2,000 men in that army, so the numbers in that army are going to make a lot of the enemy units distraught. As you saw earlier, it says distraught at a number of enemy troops when you put an arrow over them. So as you see there, as I say, I hope the Thrace army attacks me, which will give my allies time to get over there and help Uther out. Can you see that Conan's moved those Bastani infantry around the flank of my pikemen? He knows that the flank is the flank and the rear is the weak spot of pike armies, so that's why he's moved those Bastani infantry round to my right flank to attack my flank. I've turned some pike units to face them, obviously against the danger of that. And if you notice, there's some Greek cities units out to my flank as well. They look like they're kind of forming up, ready to charge into my flank as well. But what I want to do, I want to keep my pike units in a tight formation there, so I can turn units to face danger from when I'm attacked, and they've got the strength of all their units together, plus the general unit giving them morale as well. Right, can you see those Greek city units running in to attack my flank? They make contact, put their pikes down, and then move forward into the flank of my Macedon units there. Right, let's just pause the game for us to take stock of what's actually happening. As you can see here, I've got some Greek city units attacking my flank, as well as that Thrace army attacking my flank as well. Meanwhile, over into our centre, you can see that there's a Greek city army there facing our Brutii allies attacking force there. So that's what's happening in the left centre there. We need to get some units in behind those fighting Greek city units there. As we know, as we said earlier, that's the weak spot of pike units, the flank and the rear. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see that our Brutii ally plus Uther's forces now are facing the Pontus pikemen. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do over on this left flank. As I say, Uther's tactics of running, moving back from the enemy attacking was very good. As you can see in the centre here, as I said, you can see the Greek cities and our Brutii allies fighting, and over on this flank you can see, once again, as we were looking at earlier, I'm just trying to hold that Thrace army up for as long as I can to allow my allies to hopefully take out the enemy forces there. As I say, I've got that really tight formation that I use a lot here, and I can just turn units to face the danger of where they're coming in. Right, can you see a nice Julii cavalry charge there by Uther there, straight into the back of those Thrace units. He spotted that those are just Bastani, not pikemen there, so he hit them with his cavalry, and he's routed a couple of their units there. Nice little cavalry charge there by Uther. Very well done, and he's using his cavalry now to charge into the flank and the rear of those enemy Greek city units there as well. New players watching this, really nice use of cavalry there by Uther. If you notice, he's routed, I think he's severely weakened a lot of those Greek city units there. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see that the Pontus general has taken a little bit of a defensive formation up there, with this unit stretched on the left flank of his army, just to protect his flanks there, to stop enemy getting in behind. Let's say the Greek city army in the centre is doing extremely well, holding our Brutii ally up there.
The enemy army is in flight. Pursue them.
If that Julii cavalry can get in behind Pontus and then charge into the rear of the engaged piked troops there, that would be a great move. And if you notice there, Uther's moving his cavalry over, getting ready to charge into the rear of those engaged pike units, and bang, as that cavalry hits, and there you go. you started a mass rout of the Pontus pikemen there. Pontus morale's not very good anyway, so if you can get in behind them or attack them on their flanks, usually you can get a lot of their units to rout there. I think that's the Pontus generals just died. Let's just pause the game here to take stock of exactly what's happened. As you can see here, the Pontus generals just died, and most of the Pontus army now has been routed. So we can now start taking victorious troops over to the centre there to maybe take on these Greek city units that are still doing extremely well against our Rome Brutii ally there. And as you can see over on this flank, my Macedon army has done quite well against the Thrace army there. Bearing in mind that Thrace army was fresh when it attacked, so it's really well done to the those Macedon pikemen for able to hold them, and also those Greek city units that were attacking as well. I'm moving my Macedon units forward now in an aggressive way towards those Thrace pikemen. As you can see here in the centre, the Greek cities, the enemy Greek cities have held quite well there, but our victorious troops coming in from the other flank now should start making a difference to those Greek city units there. Notice we've got units fighting them head on to hold them, pin them, while we move units round the flank and rear. You see there's a lot of RTW experience in this game. Right, just going to pause the game here. Now, do you remember when we looked at that Thrace army, we said that there would probably be about 6 cavalry units hidden in that long grass, and we were right. And if you can see these 6 cavalry units now, Conan's just brought in to charge into the back of my engaged Macedon pikemen. Unfortunately, Thrace has only got light cavalry, so that's 6 units of light cavalry, but I've spotted them and I've turned my pikemen to face them. Now wisely, Conan stops that attack and moves his cavalry back out. You can see the pikes had turned to face him. He knew that if he carried on with the attack that his cavalry would just die on those pikes, so it was a nice little move there by Conan, using his years of experience there to take his cavalry elsewhere to look out where he can help his allies somewhere else. If you can charge that cavalry into the back of our engaged troops, he could do a lot of damage. But remember that it's only light cavalry, right? Can you see those units going into the back of our allies' Brutii infantry there? And bang, as that cavalry hits. But of course, if that was heavy cavalry, he'd have probably routed all those units there. But with light cavalry, it kind of they just haven't got the impact and the penetration to do that. But unfortunately, that's all the cavalry that Thrace has got, really, is that type of cavalry.
And now they flee.
So as you can see now, that Thrace cavalry now has been routed. I'd just like to show you the battlefield and see how spread out this battlefield. I know that a lot of players after this battle were saying how spread out this battle was. You can see dead, if you like, all over the battlefield here. It was such a spread out battle. And it was kind of difficult to get all the filming in of all the action that was going on all over the place here because it was so spread out. Yeah, there are some, if you like, real big piles of dead there where the fighting was really intense. But there was, as I said, fighting all over the battlefield there, as you can see by looking around at the dead laying there. It looks like our army has managed to go on to win this battle. There's a few of the enemy units that are left, but it looks like we've managed to go on and done that there. As I say, I thought Uther did extremely well over on that left flank there. Did you notice how he was just falling back all the time, falling back towards his allies there, and knowing that he didn't want to take those pike units on head on because he would probably have lost most of his units there. So that was a nice tactical move there by Uther. As I say, now we're just kind of seeing to the last of the enemy units now.
Gods be praised.
Yes, I think that's possibly the last of the enemy units there have just been taken out. Right, first thing I'd like to say is really well played to both teams there. I thought this was an interesting battle for viewers to watch this because it's very unusual for you to fight 4 pike armies on the other team, especially 2 Greek city armies. I mean, when you see 2 Greek cities armies against you, you know, some people might think, oh my god, it's a bit over the top, but it was a really good challenge there. And I thought Thrace and Pontus being bought was also unusual to the battlefield. So I'd like to say really well done to the other team for bringing, if you like, diversity to the 31k battlefield by bringing those units. And really well played to Steve, Cal and Uther. I thought they played extremely well there against those pike units. They showed their years of experience there, and there was lots of nice little tactical moves with their infantry, pinning pike units at the front and then moving units around the side and to the rear of those units. Some really nice moves there by Steve, Cal and Uther. But as I said, really well played to Conan, Heaven Novi, Gladius and Scorpion King SR. Really, once again, really well done for bringing all those pike units there. It was a real challenge, and I really liked how the battle spread out as well. There's another unusual aspect to the battle, and as I said, I hope viewers watching this enjoyed it. This is Spartan Commander saying if you enjoyed this battle, please subscribe to our channel. It's always great to get new subscribers. Spartan Commander saying bye for now.